welcome to our video series on barcodes, commonly used in the UK food industry. I'm Wayne Johnson of FIDA Solutions. In this series we'll be looking at barcode scanning, both hand scanning and inline scanning. So what actually is scanning and how does it work? So hand scanning is basically when an operator will take something like this, a standard hand scanner. There are a number of different types on the market, both rugged and standard, and all that this does is either with a laser barcode or most commonly now using a camera, so vision application, we'll look at the barcode and just read the number and the information that is on it. Mostly linked to other systems, so they could be warehouse systems, track and trace systems, identification systems, and all they are doing is either reading a standard 1D barcode or a 2D barcode or even a QR code to actually then do something with that number, that information, and whether that be a validation to say yes, that is incorrect for what I'm looking for, or to log that within a database system, or match it against other information. And that's really the predominant use. And when they first started, hand scanning or tills used the same principle. So they had laser barcodes. They've gone to more up-to-date vision systems now. So when it goes over the till, it reads the barcode on the packaging, looks on the database, and then says, right, that's product X and the price is Y, etc. So it's just an easy link use instead of somebody having to manually write it down. Inline barcode scanning, ID vision systems, can be used for two different things. One, it can be used for exactly the same thing. And inline, the pack breaks a trigger beam, it tells the scanner to read. Some can be set to automatically just look for a barcode, and when it sees it, it reads. And what that does is just logging that information that it's actually read, and can then do something with that. So if it was your suitcase, for instance, the barcodes that are attached to your suitcase when you're trying to travel on holiday goes through an array of different types of scanners, so it can see 360 degrees of your case. And what it does is it reads that barcode, checks on the system to say, right, what barcode has been allocated to this case for the destination, and then it sends your case through the different chutes and conveyor systems to the right destination. Exactly the same on a pick and a place system, just that there's a lot more interaction. So fork truck drivers now on pallets, they will have a schedule, they will go to a location, they will then scan that location, scan the barcode of the product or the pallet that they're looking for. What that does is it updates the database system to say, right, that location has now been removed of that pallet, and then it's scanned back in somewhere else within the system to say, I am now at location Y, a different location. So it assists with things like, or certainly now, especially with COVID, track and trace. So all that's doing is you're scanning into a system that happens to be a QR code. It scans in to say, I'm now at this location, logs that data. Now QR codes, as we've gone through details before regarding different types, QR codes are associated with when it's scanned using a mobile phone. That will then take you off to a website. So inline scanning, there are a number of different readers. You could have a normal 1D reader, and all they will do is they will read a 1D barcode. Now, there are lots of different 1D readers on the market. That could be lasers, that could be a vision based camera system. The lasers, what they do is they will send a laser line through the length of the barcode. One crucial part of a laser is to make sure that if it's a single beam, it needs to go through the whole length of the barcode. So it needs to go horizontally against the vertical bars of that barcode. If it's actually going the other way, so it's going vertical and the bars are vertical, it won't be reading anything because it's actually going down the center of the lines and not across the whole barcode itself. So one thing to look out for. You do also get what they call raster scanners, and the raster scanner will have multiple laser lines across it, so it can read multiple points across the barcode, which gives you added advantage of able to actually read the barcode in the first place. And you can have oscillating barcodes as well, which just move up and down. Vision type ID readers, they actually take an image of the barcode that you're actually looking for, or the area that you hope that the barcode is going to be in, and then read from the barcode from that image. Advantages are it's much quicker. They're very good at reading 2D barcodes. Disadvantage, you need to make sure that you've got very good lighting on that camera or additional lighting, and check the distance that it's actually working at for that particular camera and the particular application that you're actually looking for. Because if you set it too far away, the barcode might be that too small that it's not a valid barcode that it could read, or if you've actually got it too close to it, the barcode might be filling the whole of the space of the image and therefore actually going off the edge and not actually reading effectively either. So most systems now that are actually coming onto the market are more image-based readers, just because of the robustness and speed and quality that you now actually get from image or vision readers that are on the market. And certainly most systems that are used for validation, for instance, so checking that it's the right packaging to the right product, they would be using a 2D code, and nearly all of those would be running on the principles of the camera vision system to actually then read that 2D code, certainly in the timings. So inline scanning, dependent on the application, there will be different positions that the scanner ID camera would have to be positioned in to effectively read that barcode. It doesn't always have to be on the packaging as it's the final pack itself. What it could do, so if it's a bag, for instance, it's very difficult to try and scan a moving finished pack as it actually comes out to your vertical form fill and seal machine. The reason being is that if the barcode, the 2D barcode, is on the top of the pack, so maybe next to the date code, when you look at it, creases and folds, unless you've got it exceptionally flat, are then difficult to actually try and position the camera in the right position to actually take a good scan. Because if there's a crease over the 2D barcode, you'll then get an invalid scan and a no read, for instance. As it's coming down before it's formed and sealed, again, it's a bit more difficult because the product will be moving. And as it then forms on the outfeed conveyor, if it actually falls face down, then the 2D barcode isn't visible at all. So therefore, it's even more difficult to actually scan. The better place would to actually be before, on the film reel, before it's actually produced into a bag. And you can either position that next to the date code, but the date code position on different products may actually move, so therefore you would have to move the vision system to cope with that, or place it in the cut-off strips opposite the registration marks. So one side you will have a registration mark so that when it actually goes through the photoelectric cell, that triggers, it knows when to stop the machine, because then that's the right cut length for that bag. If you actually place it, the 2D code, opposite that registration mark, and then produce the camera in that position, you've then got a constant static position for actually reading the code. And it's the first place of detecting whether it's right or not before it actually goes onto a product. If you actually put it opposite the registration mark, the bag length then doesn't actually make a difference, because the registration mark will always control it to be in the correct position and always stop in the right place, and therefore the 2D code will always be in the right place for effective scanning. One thing to check though is if you've got a clear packaging, you may need to put a light board contrast just behind where the 2D code will actually stop, so that the camera can actually see the contrast between the 2D code and the actual packaging itself. But I'm sure the installers of the equipment would advise on that anyway. If you're actually producing a cardboard box outer, then actually placing the 2D code on the seal flap is better, because again it's a constant position, and when it's actually sealed you can't actually see the 2D code on your artwork, so it then doesn't have to detract from the visions of the artwork. Quite a lot of retailers, if you're supplying a retailer their own brand, they may stipulate a certain position, and a lot of them actually wanted it above the date code box to then try and be in a uniform position. As long as it's uniform position as it goes down the line, then you can mount a scanner over the line to actually read that code as it goes past. But it all depends on the application and the type that's actually being produced. So I've added some diagrams on certain positions of best place for inline scanning. It's certainly something to check out for. One other point just regarding certainly inline scanning and hand scanning. Inline scanners, the ID cameras, are extremely intelligent and will pick up everything that is within that barcode. And that could be a hidden code. And what we mean by hidden codes are a character, so an ASCII character, which actually allows that barcode to do something. So you'll have your standard numbers within your barcode. If it's a 2D code, that might just be 6-digit, it might be a 12-digit number, whatever you wanted. But when you're scanning, if you then put a special character within that as a carriage return, when you scan that barcode, it will automatically move down to the next line. And what that allows you to do is then keep on scanning into your any system that you have, especially if you're going through a stock take system and you're just then scanning barcodes of products. It will then automatically carriage return. The problem is if you're using that barcode for a validation means, so i.e. checking to make sure it's the right packaging for the right product against a database check, that hidden character will be seen by your inline scanners but may not be seen by your hand scanning, because the hand scanners and mobile apps, standard mobile apps, aren't intelligent enough to actually pick up those hidden special characters, but your online scanning will. And what it could lead to is you're scanning in line, quite happily your printers actually put a hidden character within the system unbeknown to you during your other artwork checks, and the line stops. And you can't actually run your packaging through your line because the system's detecting it as incorrect. The problem comes, you come to the line, you scan it with your mobile phone, it will then just show the numbers, you check, make sure that the numbers are correct. But what it's not doing is actually saying, but there's a hidden character within that, and therefore it's actually put it off. And that hidden character could be the hexadecimal, dx greater than sign 1 times x, which means that special character of a carriage return as part of the scanning language. So be careful of what is actually coming on. Ways round that is either using an app, and the best one that I've used on the market at the moment is the Cognex Barcode Scanning app, which is free to download. But that reads everything that contained within the barcode. So during your artwork sign-off stage, when your new packaging actually arrives on site, use that app to actually scan, and what it will actually identify is any hidden characters that are in there as well, so it's picked up before you actually put it on your production line. If you think that there is an issue but you haven't got that app and you're using a standard scanner, you can also go on to free websites which generate that barcode. So if you then type in the numbers for the 2D code that you have, it will then generate on screen that 2D code. All you then do is take your packaging that you currently have and visually check it against what is on the screen. If it looks different, which it will if there's hidden characters in there, if it looks different, then there is something incorrect with the barcode that you're actually using and it needs checking. But one thing that I would probably say is check what's actually in that barcode. Your printers may say, no, they haven't entered anything within that. No, it's not correct. We can't do it. But the system is picking something up. The system is working. So the first point is trust the system and then identify it. And ask your equipment suppliers. They should be able to get that information. If not, by all means contact us. We're happy to have a look at it and assist in any way we can. Okay, so that's barcode scanning. Hope that gives you a bit more information and detail into the differences and the reasons why people carry out barcode scanning. More detail and systems will come, or please contact us for any further information. Thank you.